Alright, hello, welcome. This will be a little drum video to make up for this week's class. So, last week we were talking about Eye of the Tiger. Let's continue to talk about that today. I think last time we talked about our intro. This song, again, has a really distinct rhythm to start off the song. Super recognizable, so it's going to be important that we nail that and get that sounding really tight. So, here's our rhythm for that. We're going to go ba, 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 ba. And I think we talked about a little bit last time what drums we're going to use. Due to our limitations in class, we have hi-hat, snare, and kick drum. So you're not looking at the full kit like I have here, where I have a cymbal and a tom and a snare. So for those purposes, pretend that these don't totally exist. And right now, let's focus on just using our hi-hat, our snare, and our kick drum. So for that rhythm, let's do it all together. So again, we have ba, 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 ba. So I'm going to count it in. We can do it together a little bit slow, and we'll try and get that locked in. So ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Cool. So continue to work on that rhythm. That's a pretty basic rhythm. If you have your electric kit at home, you can start. You can mess around with which drums you want to use with that. I'd advise starting with your hi-hat and your snare and your kick drum. Try and get those all working in tandem together on those hits, so they're coming down nicely and tightly together. But if you want to start using some of your toms, I know those things have all sorts of crazy settings, so you could probably have a little bit of fun with that. But first and foremost, make sure we're getting the rhythm down. So as the song continues, we get into like kind of a nice steady groove. It's just an eighth note groove where we're going to be doing eighth notes on our hi-hat, and then pretty much just straightforward quarter notes on our kick drum. So that's how that beat's all going to kind of fall together. We want to keep those eighth notes really steady through this. And there's a couple cool fills in here, too, that we could hopefully get into. So practice working on that full eighth note beat. You can do it nice and slow. So I'll play it a little bit slower here. Maybe we can do it together. So ready? 1, 2, ready, go. So as far as our structure goes, we're going to be doing that intro hits twice. So we're going to go. We'll do that 2 times, and then we come in with that nice steady beat, and you'll hear the bass player. If you listen to the song, it's really present, and you can tell how much of a difference it makes and sort of where the direction of the song is going. So you hear the bass player and the drummer lock into the beat as the guitarists are still doing our intro rhythm. So we're still technically in our intro. It just takes our rhythm section takes sort of a little bit of a different form, right? So that's when we're going to start kicking in with our eighth note beat, right? So you'll hear yourself playing that beat over the intro, and then you'll hear things kind of settle down, and we go right into a verse. So that's where we're going to be hanging on that beat and really keeping steady. So. You'll hear how that all kind of works together. So continue to work on that intro, then trying to get our steady beat down, try and lock that in. There is a really cool fill in this song that I like, and I kind of want to try and see if we can sort of mimic that and get it down as close as we can. So it goes. Here's the whole fill, just so you can hear. It goes. So you can use kind of any cymbal to finish that off, but it starts with the snare. So we've got 2 hits on our snare, and then we're going to come in with our kick drum. So work on just that to start off. Let's do that like 5 times in a row. Like rest, 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 rest. Rest. Cool. I think that was 5. I hope that was 5. I lost count. But that's going to be the first half. So we do. And then we do another. This pretty much the same thing. So it's really just kind of working between, so far, our snare and our kick drum. We've got. 4. So that's how that all kind of works together. If you want to clap it and pretend like we don't have our drums, here's how the whole rhythm would sound, including our last little tidbit with the cymbals. So it's going to go ba 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 ba. So I'll do that again. So we can work on doing that fill by itself if you just kind of gradually work out that feel. Or you could do it with a cymbal like this. So if we work on that on its own and we get and we kind of work on that speed, it'll eventually sound right in the song, and we can put it into our part. So it'll eventually plug in like this. Right? So that's a really cool. I love that fill. It sounds so cool, and it's like perfect. It's so perfect for taking the song to the next part, right? And that's one thing I love about being a drummer. You can do these little things that, like, you know, I've had a lot of situations where I've maybe been looking at a band member and it's like obvious that they're completely lost, you know, as happens to everybody. It's happened to me too. But like, I looked at him and, you know, you can go, he's like, are we going to the chorus now? What do we do? Are we going to the chorus? I can do something on the drums to make that incredibly obvious. So even if it's something as simple as doing like, right? So like the drums are in a way like an opportunity for everyone to, they really drive the dynamics first and foremost, but it's an opportunity for everyone to kind of catch themselves because they can hear, all right, the drums are getting louder now. We're probably going to the chorus. And they can kind of make that assumption or use their intuition or use knowledge that they have about the song. So like you really, really hold kind of a good key to like the form here. And this is a perfect fill to kind of exemplify that for us, where you, if you listen to how he does it, it's really perfectly placed in a spot where the verse is kind of starting up, things are moving forward with the song, but there's just this little drum fill. So it's just a great example of how you can be methodical and how you can be smart about how you're drumming and how big of a difference it ultimately can play. So to go over what we've talked about today, we've got our intro. So keep working on that. That one's one that I think practicing along with the song will be very helpful. You can hear the whole band coming in with those really tight hits. Then try and get your eighth note groove down. So start it off pretty slow. This might be one where it's good to pause the song and sort of practice on your own. And try and just make sure we're doing it nice and slow and steady. So we have and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So just to go over how that beat works, I've got eighth notes on the hi-hat, snare on 2 and 4, and the kick drum on 1 and 3. So I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right, so that's how that one's gonna work. And then start to slowly work on this fill. So start off kind of slow with it, and I would say try and get the fill up to a comfortable speed before we're introducing it into a beat, like how I played earlier, where you're going to hear. So that's going to take a little bit of time to get really nice and tight. So work on that fill on its own, and then gradually introduce it into the groove. And next week I'll go into more detail about like how that really does work, at which point in that groove of the measure, or is that fill gonna come in on what beat. I'll probably write it out too. Maybe I'll show you how, like, so we can visualize how that exactly works. But keep working on that stuff today. Keep listening to Eye of the Tiger. Continue to work on I Love Rock and Roll too. We want to make sure that we don't lose how good we were sounding with that one before we left. So when we come back, we can really like kind of hit that one a couple times and move on. That can be a great tune for us to just kind of start class off with, and then we can move more into Eye of the Tiger. All right, so I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and hope we're all staying safe out there, and enjoy.